Okay, I'm live and posting knowledge tomography part 2. Not so sure how the sound is gonna come through because this is I'm streaming from a hotel room, so not the best setup, but it should be enough to continue the knowledge tomography part. And today what I'm doing more is, again, because as I keep building these, I do have sometimes more ideas on what's the best way to create that loop between playing and building the knowledge space. And today I'm kind of like trying to get a level deeper into these, but then and this is where simulation comes in handy because so we have all these blocks ready to explore. But the way that this currently works is if I would like to go and take a look at the simulation, I can simulate the workspace, and I can see what kind of questions and exercises are coming through, which gives me a good sense of whether the design is good and solid and it's exactly what I want to be doing. That's one thing. But if I'm doing unknown territory, I probably want to, instead of just doing random drills and exercises, I'm trying to find a good way to transition you as a user to that spot. Because here we have things like, for example, this person X is tested on 3 domain slices: basic Python list indexing, recursion, big O nested loops. Results: A, 5-5 correct with less than 2 seconds latency. B explains base case but fails on the recursive call. It cannot produce a trace for factorial 3. And C states ON. So this is, or like again, remember, this is an exercise on the knowledge tomography space, right? And so here's asking us as an exercise to assign each slice the label known, fragile, or unknown, and then write a 3-row boundary map, slice label catch signal. So we already, I mean, we don't know what boundary maps are, and compute the coverage score, number of known slices divided by 3 as a reduced fraction. So this is a specific drill exercise for something in the workspace, which is good. I mean, that's actually good practice for doing what we want to do, because that's how you would typically learn this, is by doing exercises like this, right? But it's very unknown territory, so I'm not so sure how much I can trust the model either here, that these are the right things to do. I mean, there's definitely a concept that we don't know of, which is the boundary map, which it's already good because it means we need to learn these. There's not there, it talks about labels and models, or labels like known, fragile, or unknown. This doesn't give me too much of a good confidence that it is actually something. And maybe it's, you know what's good about these, and maybe that's one of the things that we have to do. The same way that we had the rabbit hole mechanism to keep building things, maybe the simulation is like another way to build further the workspace. Because what you want to do is you want to take these things. Oh no, it's gone. You want to take these kind of exercises and basically highlight parts of the exercise that you don't understand, and actually then map them to specific workspace sections, or like use them to further build the map. And I know I I know I should be actually working on the map, but that is actually an important thing. So for example, if I want to understand how else can I break these, I can do simulation break. I could do maybe like the expansion so we have a rabbit hole expansion, but we could basically use a simulation expansion, if you know what I mean, where we poke, or what is different. I think that's what should be in simulation. Maybe simulation should be take me through. So it should not have single block. It should have the workspace, yes, it should have. I'm just thinking how what I could feed it in here as a tool. Because now what could I do? I have built and play. If I play, I do have just I select and I essentially just explore and drill, right? And I'm not too yet happy about these, although drilling is one thing. It doesn't feel like I want to drill because I don't know, so I want to explore. And then I actually can explore time boxing. And if I do that, I am actually getting the tab flow, which is a good way to do these, which is a good way to explore. But maybe it's not the kind of tab flow that we have for validation. That is my point, right? If I click, so these things currently take you to, if I start an exploration and I do a time box, it actually takes me through the same flow, like this one, which I'm not 100% EEG versus fMRI trade-offs, spike accessibility, so we can play this one, right? But then, okay, so now let's play this, right? So now we have what spike accessibility correlation can MEG claim relative to invasive electrophysiology? So those are already things I don't know of, and I kind of would block myself here right now. And why does that limit how tightly you can localize a knowledge-related natural event? And so that already, in and of itself, it's kind of like it's. I think the way that the tab interface has been designed, it's pretty much for verification. I shouldn't actually. That's the whole point here. I think I have to end this session here, and what I would do is go back to the drawing board with that, where essentially when I'm in play mode, essentially explore is the ILE and drill, yeah, I think so. If I'm in build mode, and I do get the links, settings, knowledge board, knowledge links, timed exploration, timed exploration is or the other way around. I just remove the stashing. I just remove the stashing because it's not so much, not the stashing, that the quality, because it's not verification, right? If it's exploration, it shouldn't have only drilling should actually have the purity. I think exploration shouldn't have the purity. Maybe exploration should just be ILE, really, because you don't want to have the purity there. And if you because if I drill, I know that this is the wrong cut. It's the wrong kind of cut because what's the timing on this? It's the wrong kind of cut because drilling means you don't want to explore. So drilling means you're just doing out loud thinking practice, and that's where the purity is important. So I think the explore is a different type of proof of work data, and explore should be basically yes, timed exploration is okay, but then you shouldn't have timed exploration shouldn't enforce thinking. It shouldn't have the purity constraint. That's the point. That's my point. But we should flag this data as explorative data, which is different. And it's okay. I guess it's okay because you're doing exploration, and we just have to make sure that that the drilling so it's a bit of a deviation, I think, from what I wanted to do today, but it's an important distinction. I think when I do, because we'll look at the if we look at the knowledge links, we currently have timed exploration and time drill. The only thing that the only difference is this is both tab, but it's exercise or question. So I think we should just basically say drilling. Drilling is tab. Then add basically add a simple distinction between conversation versus exercise, whereas exploring is ILE, and this is basically conversation versus exercise. I think we have to make that change because, yeah, because essentially this has purity. It's built in. No purity built in. Needs to flag all as explorative anyhow or whatever. I mean, I think I'm not so sure if it's already flagged as ILE, so it should already account for these. I think it should. Yeah, I do have to be aware of these. But then what's happening here is, yeah, but it's fine. Then it's fine. Then I don't really need to actually do anything here special, but it's more like I need to actually go into exploration. I need to go into play mode and explore, right? The only thing is I need to close. I feel I need to do to close the loop. So if I'm here, if I go and explore, and again, it's not about time boxing. Time boxing. So what I would do is drilling was always time boxed. Right? Yeah. And this is always open-ended, but that's already how it is. So that's fine. There's not much change there. But then I should take a look at these and I should explore. And I think that's what I need to do is I need to be able to tie things back to this workspace here. So not much to change, but rather say explore, and I can start exploring this topic. So I can start on this topic. I pick one of these and I'll just start balanced. Narrow, balanced, broad, so I'll start balanced. Yeah, and that's good because that takes you down the next level, which you have the local chapter map. And that is perfect. I just need to close that back. I need to find a way to close these back to the main map. I think that's the piece that is missing here, right? Because now we have these here. I don't really think we need a mini map here, right? Because it's going to be much more local. But it's okay maybe still. So we've got a few things in here. How are these things already? First of all, I think this should be, no, this can be in, that's okay, yeah. How do I know? I need to improve this map because I don't know which one goes where, but it's okay. List the main ways you currently distinguish invasive versus non-invasive. Yeah, exactly. That's good. So you've got this map to explore. You can dynamically add it. That's all right. We can start this block. If we start this block, then essentially we have the conversation here. So I have to list the main ways. Yeah, that's all good. I'm just thinking maybe that's never a conversation. No, it is because a conversation is useful here actually. So I'm gonna be just, yeah, no, it is actually. This is the best way to do it because then I can just keep exploring that. I just need to find a way to bubble things up to the main. And I'm thinking now how to do this. Um, hmm. I mean, what do we ideally want? This is the best way to kind of drill down and explore, right? So, but what now? Let's go back to the workspace. So, what do we want to mm, do here? So we're in play mode, and what? How do we tie back the building? I think one way would be to basically, yeah, I think what I need to do is in build mode or in play mode actually. This is in play mode, right? I need to go to build mode for these probably. Need to go to build mode for this, yes. What we have in build mode, we just should have, it's a bit of a, yeah, that's kind of to tie back the loop. We need to have access to the chain thoughts from drilling as well as exploring, because that actually will help us generate more blocks in build mode. That kind of what closes the loop, right? So yeah, add a new block. So we currently have, to add a new block, we have local context. We have expand on the cell. Yeah, so what I should do is not simulation, but what would be the right word for these? So DAX, goals, context, knowledge. We should generate it from knowledge, I think. Because you want to be crystallizing, you want to be strengthening these, so you want to be creating snapshots, and those snapshots are the ones that do these, right? So it should generate from, I think it should be called generate from knowledge, basically. And it should be something where you we either have an expand from knowledge interface or a suggest from knowledge, probably suggest 3 topics, add local context. Yeah, I think so. I think what we need is a, and what about when you do these? Yes, so we need this in generate in shape. So we need for add block slash generate in shape. Well, to be honest, this needs to be embedded everywhere where we're doing even just the bridging. If I'm selecting this guy and I'm then selecting this guy, we've got bridge blocks, and then I can actually, yeah, I think I need to find a way to add everything that is generative. Generative. Add from knowledge, because you're built. We're building this from knowledge, right? So that's what closes the loop here. So this is generating traces, and then we can just gen generate from knowledge, and that is also where swarm intelligence comes in, because you have multiple people running on a workspace. You can generate from others' knowledge, and this is actually what I just need to make sure the interface is very, very clear for these. That's why we have to know. That's why these matters, right? Yes, generate from knowledge. So I think this is, and I need to work on the pitch for this very, very well, because this is what's, this is generative, or this is basically procedural exploration of this whole thing. So add from knowledge, basically suggest topics from available snapshots. And I also would, I think, I also would need to do something which is add from simulation, basically. Because I think what we need to do is the simulation tab can be used to generate a long-lasting collection of exercise and questions, out of which we can curate stuff we don't know or didn't know we didn't know. And then essentially it ties up into like add from simulation, because I think that is what's going to make that special, because we're going to be able to simulate these, and then simulation shouldn't have single block here. It should have workspace simulation, and then we can simulate individual blocks here, obviously. So we can do block simulation, then we can generate simulations in here. We should be able to do simulation of combined blocks and regions. Yeah. Sim tab only workspace plus work on curation. And then sim block, okay, sim multi-block as well. Yeah, I mean, that completes the picture a lot, because this is exactly how you keep growing the workspace. So you're either in play mode, and you can just have play mode where you just never expand these, right? So it's purely play. It's just purely, just play with whatever it is. You don't want to tie it back to the full experience. Although I'm not so sure if that makes sense, because that doesn't show the full potential, right? It doesn't actually unlock the full potential, but it's maybe an easy way to get started. It's an easy way to just focus on generating data, and then when you want to be in build mode, then you kind of go back and tie things together. So the context is from the outside world, but then simulation and knowledge is actually generated context, right? And that's what actually helps you build the thing further to do whatever you need, basically. But it already is reaching a level of complexity that I have to be careful how this is designed, to be honest. Anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, and we'll do another one as soon as we can. That was definitely a good one. I mean, it is actually good to be able to tie back to these. So when you're playing, you're exploring. You can do drills. That all generates proof. I just need to change that time box, like the naming of these time box, whatever. As I said, exploring should be always ILE, and drilling should be always tab. That's it, basically. So drill should actually have the time box enabled always. And explore should be explore. Yeah. Okay. And then we tie back things like that. So I ended up not doing the knowledge tomography stuff per se, but I mean that was the piece that that's an important piece that I'm missing to keep building this in a meaningful way, because that was very good. I mean, I can start exploring now already these and generating more, uh, essentially generating more blocks off of that. Cool. See you guys in the next one.